I was at a family gathering when my mom asked, "Are you excited to turn 20, sweetheart?" It was a late September afternoon at our place in suburban Connecticut. About 30 relatives filled the backyard. Before I could answer, Uncle Gary, 3 beers deep, blurted out, "Hell, I'd be excited too if I was about to get $400,000. The entire yard went silent. I had no idea what he meant. My stepfather Craig turned pale and dropped his bottle. The bottle hit the concrete patio and shattered. Beer foamed across the ground. Nobody moved. All 30 pairs of eyes fixed on me. Then Craig, then back to me. My heart hammered in my chest. "What are you talking about?" I asked Uncle Gary. My voice came out steadier than I felt. Uncle Gary's drunk smile faded as he realized something was wrong. "The trust fund. From your dad. You know, David. Your real dad." Craig's face shifted from pale to red. "Gary, shut your mouth." My mom Linda grabbed my arm. Her fingers dug into my skin. "Angus, honey, let's go inside. We need to talk." "No." I pulled away from her. "What trust fund?" The backyard had become a stage. My cousins, aunts, uncles, even Grandma Rose, all stood frozen with paper plates and red cups. Someone's kids started crying. Nobody comforted them. "Linda," Craig said through clenched teeth. "Take him inside. Now." But I wasn't moving. "Somebody better start explaining what's going on. Uncle Gary just said I'm getting $400,000 when I turn 20. That's in 3 weeks. So what is he talking about?" My mom's eyes filled with tears. "Please, Angus. Not here. Not like this." "Yes, here," I said. "Yes, like this." Because apparently everyone at this barbecue knew about this, except me. I looked around the yard. My Aunt Patricia suddenly found her coleslaw fascinating. Cousin Emma checked her phone. Uncle Gary started backing toward the gate. "Someone talk," I demanded. Craig stepped forward. He was a big man, 6'3", 240 pounds of construction site muscle. He'd been in my life since I was 7 years old. Married my mom when I was 8. I called him Craig. Never Dad. But he'd been there. Paid for things. Showed up to my baseball games. Fixed my car when I turned 16. "Your biological father left some money," Craig said flatly. "It's complicated. We were going to tell you." "When? On my birthday? Or were you planning to just keep it secret forever?" "Don't you dare take that tone with me," Craig snapped. "After everything I've done for you." My mom started crying harder. "Let's just go inside. Please." The kid was still crying. Someone finally picked them up. The sound echoed across the uncomfortable silence. I walked toward the house. My mom followed. Craig came last, his jaw working like he was chewing rocks. We ended up in the garage. My mom's Toyota on one side, Craig's black pickup on the other. The space smelled like motor oil and cut grass. I stood near the workbench. They blocked the door. "Your father," my mom started, then stopped. "Your biological father, David. He died when you were 2. You know that." "In a construction accident," I said. "I know the story." "He left a trust fund," she continued. "It was $200,000 back in 2003. It's been invested. Growing. It's worth about $400,000 now." The number was so absurd I almost laughed. $400,000. I'd been working at Target for 2 years, saving every penny. I had another job at a pizza place on weekends. I'd scraped together $6,000 for community college. 6,000. And there was $400,000 just sitting somewhere with my name on it. "Why didn't you tell me?" My voice cracked. "Do you have any idea what that money would mean? I could go to a real university. I could stop working 70 hours a week. I could actually have a future." "We thought it was better if you didn't know," Craig said. "We didn't want you to become one of those entitled kids who just waits around for a handout." "A handout? It's my money. From my father." "Your father's dead," Craig said coldly. "I'm the one who raised you." "Then let me see the trust documents," I said. "Right now. I want to see the paperwork." Craig's expression hardened. "It's not that simple." "Yes, it is. Show me the trust account." Show me the balance. Show me how it's been managed. The money is complicated, Craig said. It's tied up in investments. There are tax implications, legal restrictions. Then show me the documents that explain all that. I don't have to show you anything, Craig said. I'm the trustee. I've been managing this money responsibly for 17 years. You'll get what's left when you turn 20. What's left? The words hit me like cold water. What do you mean, what's left? My mom wouldn't look at me. She stared at the oil-stained concrete floor. Craig, she whispered, maybe we should. Should what? He turned on her. Should let this ungrateful kid interrogate us at a family barbecue? Should apologize for keeping this family afloat? I moved toward my mom's car and grabbed her laptop from the front seat. She always left it there, used it to check recipes and email during errands. What are you doing? Craig demanded. I opened it. The password was my birthday, like always. I pulled up her email and typed trust fund into the search bar. Angus, don't, my mom pleaded, but I'd already found it. An email from Huntington Bank dated August 15th, 2 months ago. Subject line, Trust Account Statement for David Morrison Trust. I opened it. The attachment showed a balance of $412,000. This says $412,000, I said slowly, in August. So where's the money now? Show me the current balance. Craig crossed the garage in 3 steps and ripped the laptop from my hands. He slammed it shut so hard I heard something crack inside. You want to know where the money went? He shouted. It went to keeping a roof over your head. It went to your braces, your medical bills when you broke your arm, your food, your clothes, your school trips. This house costs $3,000 a month. Your mother's car broke down twice. We had credit card debt up to our necks. That money kept this family from falling apart. The garage went silent, except for Craig's heavy breathing. You stole from me, I said quietly. You stole my father's money. Money he left to take care of me. And you spent it on yourself. Craig's hand shot out and he grabbed my shirt. You should be thanking me. Without that money, you'd have grown up in some apartment eating ramen noodles. You got to have a normal childhood because of me. Because of my dad, I corrected. My real dad. The one who actually loved me enough to make sure I'd be taken care of. Craig's fist clenched in my shirt. For a second, I thought he might hit me. My mom screamed, "Stop it! Both of you, stop!" He let go, pushed me backward. I stumbled against the workbench. You want to see the trust account? Craig said. Fine. Go to the bank, see what's there. Then come back and apologize for accusing me of theft when all I did was provide for this family. He stormed out of the garage. The door to the house slammed behind him. My mom stood there crying, mascara running down her face. Outside, I could hear car doors closing, engines starting. The barbecue was over. Everyone was leaving. Mom, I said, did you know? Did you know he was taking money from the trust? She didn't answer. Just turned and followed Craig into the house. I stood alone in the garage, my mind spinning. $412,000 in August. $300,000 had disappeared in 17 years, maybe more. And Craig had just admitted he took it. I pulled out my phone and started searching for lawyers. I barely slept that night. I stayed at my friend Tyler's house. His parents had been at the barbecue, heard everything, and offered their guest room without me even asking. I spent hours on my phone researching trust fund laws in Connecticut, reading about fiduciary duty and embezzlement and statute of limitations. The next morning, Tuesday, I called in sick to my shift at Target. Then I drove to downtown Hartford. Huntington Bank sat on a corner near Bushnell Park. Glass and steel. Modern. Intimidating. I'd never been inside. I walked through the revolving door holding my birth certificate and driver's license, my hands shaking. The lobby smelled like coffee and printer paper. A woman at the reception desk looked up and smiled. Can I help you? I need to talk to someone about a trust account. The David Morrison Trust. Her smile became more professional. Let me see if one of our managers is available. 10 minutes later, I sat across from Mrs. Patterson, a black woman in her 50s, with kind eyes and a no-nonsense manner. She typed on her computer, then looked at me over her reading glasses. You're Angus Morrison? Yes, ma'am. And you're inquiring about the David Morrison Trust, for which you're the beneficiary? Yes. I just found out about it. Yesterday, at a family barbecue. It sounded ridiculous, saying it out loud. Mrs. Patterson's expression softened. I see. Well, you have a right to information about your own trust. Let me pull up the details. She typed more. Her face remained neutral, but I saw something flicker in her eyes. Concern, maybe, or pity. The current balance is $87,422. The number hit me like a physical blow. What? $87,422.18 to be precise. But it was $412,000 in August, 2 months ago. Where did $300,000 go? Mrs. Patterson turned her monitor so I could see. A long list of withdrawals filled the screen. 5,000 here, 10,000 there, 20,000, 15,000. They went back years. The most recent was September 30th, 12 days ago. $38,000 withdrawn in cash. These are all authorized withdrawals, Mrs. Patterson explained. Made by the co-trustee, Craig Morrison. Co-trustee. When your mother married Mr. Morrison, he was added to the trust as co-trustee. It's not uncommon in blended families. The trust document allows either trustee to make withdrawals for your benefit. Educational expenses, medical necessities, basic support. I went to public school, I said. My voice sounded far away. I've never had major medical issues. I worked 2 jobs to pay for community college. Where did the money actually go? Mrs. Patterson looked uncomfortable. The withdrawals are marked as educational expenses and medical necessities, but I'm not authorized to investigate the actual use of funds. That would require legal action. She pulled out a business card and wrote a name and number on the back. This is Jerome Walsh. He's an attorney who specializes in trust litigation. You might want to speak with him. I took the card with numb fingers. Can you freeze the account? Stop Craig from taking more? Not without a court order. I'm sorry. I left the bank and sat in my car in the parking garage for 20 minutes, just breathing. Then I called Jerome Walsh. His office was in a strip mall in West Hartford, squeezed between a nail salon and a Chinese restaurant. Not exactly the high-powered law firm I'd imagined. But when Walsh sat down across from me an hour later, he seemed competent. Mid-40s, receding hairline, coffee stain on his tie. Real. I told him everything. He took notes on a yellow legal pad. This is textbook embezzlement, he said when I finished. Craig had a fiduciary duty to use that money for your benefit. If he used it for personal expenses, that's theft. We can sue for recovery of funds, and possibly press criminal charges. Hope sparked in my chest for the first time since yesterday. So we can get the money back? Some of it, potentially. It depends on what he spent it on, and whether he still has assets we can claim. But I'll be honest with you, Angus. This kind of litigation is expensive. My retainer is $5,000. The Hope guttered out. I have $1,200 in savings. That's it. Walsh tapped his pen on the desk, thinking. Tell you what, give me $2,000 up front. I'll take the rest contingent on recovery. But I need something today to file the initial paperwork. I left Tyler's house at lunch and went to my bank. Withdrew $2,000. My account balance dropped to $376. I'd been saving for 2 years. By 3 o'clock, Jerome Walsh had filed an emergency motion to freeze the trust account. He said it would take a few days to get before a judge, but we'd done all we could do for now. Don't confront Craig, Walsh warned me. Don't talk to him at all. Let the courts handle this. I drove back to Tyler's house feeling lighter. Someone was on my side. Someone who knew the law and could fight back. I pulled into the driveway at 6:30. Tyler's mom, Sharon, met me at the door. Her face was pale. Angus, Craig's been calling here. 5 times. He's very angry. My phone sat in my car. I'd left it there deliberately, couldn't deal with calls. I went and got it. 17 missed calls. 9 voicemails. All from home. I didn't listen to them. Instead, I called the house. Craig answered on the first ring. You son of a bitch. Don't talk to me, I said. Talk to my lawyer. Your lawyer? He laughed, harsh and cold. You mean Jerome Walsh? Yeah, he called me. Had some interesting things to say. Something in his voice made my stomach drop. What do you mean? Why don't you call him and ask? Oh, wait. He's not your lawyer anymore. He hung up. I called Walsh immediately. It rang 4 times, then went to voicemail. I left a message. Called again. Voicemail. Texted. No response. At 8:45, my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Your retainer check is being returned by courier. It will arrive within the hour. I called the number. Jerome Walsh answered. Mr. Walsh, what's going on? Why are you returning my money? He sounded uncomfortable. Nervous. Angus, I've reviewed the case more carefully. I don't think we have sufficient grounds to proceed. This is a family matter, not a legal one. I think you should try to work things out with your parents. You said it was textbook embezzlement 6 hours ago. I was premature in that assessment. I apologize. Your money will be refunded in full. Did Craig come see you? Did he threaten you? Silence. Mr. Walsh, answer me. Look, he said, his voice dropping. Craig came to my office this afternoon. He explained everything. The trust was used for family expenses, legitimate expenses, all for your benefit. This is between you and your parents. I can't be involved. He got to you. He paid you off or threatened you or something. I'm refunding your retainer. That's all I can tell you. Don't contact me again. He hung up. At 9:30, a courier arrived, with an envelope containing my check, $2,000. But I no longer had a lawyer, and Craig now knew every move I was planning to make. I sat on Tyler's guest bed, holding the check, understanding with cold certainty that I'd just made everything worse. Craig knew I was fighting back, and he'd shut me down in less than 6 hours. My phone buzzed. Text from my mom. Please come home. We need to talk. I'm scared of what Craig might do. I didn't respond. Didn't know if I could trust her. Didn't know if I could trust anyone. I spent the next 3 days trying to find another attorney. Called 12 lawyers in Hartford County. None would take the case. I'd mention the David Morrison Trust and get immediate refusals. Conflict of interest. Not our area of expertise. Too complicated. One lawyer was at least honest. Kid, word travels fast in this town. Craig Morrison has connections. Nobody wants to touch this. Craig worked as a regional manager for Statewide Building Supply, one of the biggest construction suppliers in Connecticut. 20 years with the company. He knew contractors, developers, lawyers, judges. He golfed with the mayor. I was 19 years old with $376 in my bank account. Thursday morning, I made a decision. I'd gather evidence myself. I waited until Craig and my mom both left for work. I still had my house key. I let myself in through the garage at 10:15. The house was silent. Lived here my whole life, but now it felt foreign. Hostile. I went straight to Craig's office, a converted bedroom upstairs. He usually kept it locked, but I'd watched him enter the combination on the keypad months ago. 2207. My mom's birthday. The door clicked open. The office smelled like leather and coffee. Big desk, filing cabinets, a safe in the corner. I started with the desk drawers. Found utility bills, insurance paperwork. Nothing interesting. The filing cabinet was locked. I tried the safe. It had a digital keypad. I tried 2207. Wrong. Tried my birthday. Wrong. Tried Craig's birthday. Wrong. The safe beeped angrily and locked me out for 5 minutes. While I waited, I searched the bookshelves. Found a file folder wedged behind some John Grisham novels. Pulled it out. Jackpot. Trust fund documents. Bank statements going back 5 years. Withdrawal slips. And receipts. Dozens of receipts. All marked educational expenses or medical necessities. But the receipts were for other things. Casino charges. Online poker deposits. Credit card payments. I pulled out my phone and started photographing everything. Every page, every receipt, every bank statement. My hands shook, but I kept going. I had maybe an hour before anyone came home. The casino charges were huge. Mohegan Sun, Foxwoods, $5,000, $8,000, $12,000 at a time. Online poker sites I'd never heard of. And credit card statements showing minimum payments, late fees, interest charges at 29%. Craig had gambling debts, serious gambling debts, and he'd been paying them with my trust fund. I photographed it all, took over 200 photos. Then I carefully put everything back exactly where I'd found it. I was sliding the folder back behind the books when I heard the garage door open. My heart stopped. Someone was home. It was only 11:30. I heard footsteps downstairs. Craig's voice. I don't care what he says. The project needs to be done by Friday. He was home. In the middle of the day. I stood frozen in his office. If he came upstairs, I was caught. I looked around desperately. Closet? Window? There was nowhere to go. His footsteps came up the stairs. I did the only thing I could think of. I walked out of his office, pulled the door shut, and headed toward the bathroom like I'd just been using it. Craig reached the top of the stairs as I came out of the bathroom. We stared at each other. What are you doing here? He demanded. I live here, I said. I was getting some of my stuff. Your stuff from the bathroom? My razor. I forgot it. He moved closer. He was in work clothes, steel-toed boots, jeans, company polo. He smelled like sawdust and anger. You're lying. I'm not. He grabbed my arm. Hard. His fingers dug into my bicep. If I find out you touched anything in my office, we're going to have a serious problem. I didn't touch anything. He let go. Pushed me toward the stairs. Get out. You don't live here anymore. You gave up that right when you hired a lawyer to attack your own family. I went downstairs, heart hammering. Got in my car and drove away. I had the evidence. Photos of everything. Proof Craig was stealing from the trust. But I had no lawyer to show it to. That afternoon, I printed the photos at a FedEx office. Made 3 copies of everything. Put 1 set in my car, 1 at Tyler's house, 1 in my work locker at Target. Friday, I worked my evening shift. 4 to 10. Stocking shelves, helping customers find trash bags and laundry detergent. Normal life. Except nothing was normal anymore. I got off at 10, exhausted. Drove back to Tyler's house. All the lights were on. Strange for 10:30 on a Friday. I walked in through the front door. 3 police cars sat in the driveway. I hadn't seen them in the dark. 2 officers stood in the living room talking to Tyler's dad, Richard. They turned when I walked in. Angus Morrison, one officer asked. Yes? You're under arrest for burglary and theft. They read me my rights, while Tyler's family watched in horror. Handcuffed me. Took me outside where neighbors stood on their lawns, watching. Craig had filed a police report. Claimed I'd broken into his home office, forced open his safe, and stolen $3,000 in cash, and my mother's jewelry. The family jewelry, worth thousands. Her grandmother's ring. I didn't steal anything, I said in the back of the police cruiser. The officer driving glanced at me in the rearview mirror. Save it for your lawyer. Hartford Police Department. Booked and fingerprinted. Mugshot. They took my wallet, my keys, my phone, put me in a holding cell with a guy who smelled like he'd been there for days. Bail was set at $10,000. I needed $1,000 to get out. I had $376 in the bank and no one to call. I sat in that cell until 3 in the morning, when Tyler's parents arrived and bailed me out. They'd pooled money with Tyler's grandmother. All 3 of them looked exhausted and scared. Thank you, I said in the parking lot. Richard just nodded. You can't come back to our house, Angus. I'm sorry. We have younger kids. We can't have this. I understood. Didn't blame them. They'd already done more than anyone could ask. They dropped me at a motel on Route 44. Extended Stay America. $89 a night. I had 1 week's pay from Target in my account. That would cover maybe 5 nights. Saturday, I met with my public defender. His name was Marcus Perry. He was 42 years old, handled 200 cases at once, and spent exactly 23 minutes with me. Best option is a plea deal, he said, flipping through papers. Plead guilty to misdemeanor theft, probation, community service. No jail time. I didn't steal anything. Your stepfather says you did. He and your mother will both testify. My mother will testify against me? He looked up, finally meeting my eyes. According to the report, yes. I want to fight this. I have evidence Craig's been embezzling from my trust fund. That's why he's doing this. He's framing me. Perry sighed. Closed the folder. Listen, kid. I believe you. I've been doing this long enough to smell a setup. But proving it is going to be hard. You need discovery, depositions, expert witnesses. I don't have time for that. My caseload is insane. If you want to fight this properly, you need a private attorney. I don't have money for a private attorney. Then take the plea. It's the best I can do for you. I left the public defender's office feeling more alone than I'd ever felt in my life. Monday, I showed up for my shift at Target. The store manager pulled me aside 10 minutes after I clocked in. Angus, we have to let you go. Company policy. Can't employ someone with pending felony charges. It's not a felony. And I didn't do anything. I'm sorry. You'll get your final paycheck mailed to your address on file. I walked out through the automatic doors in my red Target vest, then realized I still had it on. Took it off in the parking lot and threw it in my car. That left me with the pizza place. I called and asked for extra shifts. They said they'd see what they could do. Tuesday was the preliminary hearing. I wore the only button-down shirt I owned, sat at a table with Marcus Perry while Craig and my mom sat with the prosecutor. Craig testified first. Described coming home Thursday afternoon, finding his office door ajar. Safe open, cash missing. He noticed Linda's jewelry box in the bedroom had also been disturbed. Her grandmother's ring, gone. Worth $7,000. The prosecutor showed photos of the open safe, the empty jewelry box. Craig looked right at me while he testified. His expression was calm, reasonable, hurt. I understand Angus is angry about the trust fund situation, he said, but that gives him no right to rob us. I've tried to be a good father to him. This is how he repays me. My mom testified next. She was crying. Real tears, not fake ones. Said she'd come home from work, found her jewelry box open, her grandmother's ring gone. The ring had belonged to her mother's mother, brought over from Poland in 1938. Irreplaceable. Did you see Angus take it? The prosecutor asked. No. But he was the only one who could have. He has a key. He knew the house would be empty. I wanted to stand up and scream that she was lying. But Perry put his hand on my arm, held me down. Perry's cross-examination was weak. Asked a few basic questions. Established that there was no video evidence, no witnesses, nothing but Craig and Linda's word. The judge, a tired-looking woman in her 60s, listened to everything. Then she set a trial date for January and maintained the bail conditions. Outside the courthouse, I tried to talk to my mom. Perry had already left. Craig was on his phone talking to someone from work. Mom, I said, please, you know I didn't steal anything. Why are you doing this? She looked at me, and for a second I saw real pain in her eyes. Fear. Then she looked away. You need help, Angus. Professional help. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking fine. Craig's the one who stole from me. $300,000. And now he's framing me, so I'll drop the case. Stop it, she hissed. Just stop. You're making everything worse. Craig appeared at her side. Put his arm around her shoulders. Possessive. Controlling. Come on, honey. Let's go home. They walked to Craig's truck. Left me standing there. I turned to walk to my car and found a woman approaching me. 50s, blonde hair, business casual clothes. She'd been sitting in the back of the courtroom. Angus Morrison? She asked. Yeah? My name is Helena. Helena Morrison. I'm your aunt. Your father David's sister. I stared at her. I'd never met my father's family. My mom always said they'd moved away, lost touch after David died. I saw your case in the newspaper, Helena said. I've been waiting for years for someone to stand up to Craig. I think it's time you knew the truth about what really happened to your father. We met at a diner in West Hartford. Ella's Place, one of those old-school spots with vinyl booths and unlimited coffee. Helena sat across from me, stirring cream into her cup, looking like she was deciding where to start. Your father was my baby brother, she said finally. 5 years younger than me. Best person I ever knew. I realized I barely knew anything about David Morrison. My mom never talked about him. A few photos in a box in the attic. That was it. Dark-haired guy, with a big smile, holding baby me. That was the extent of my father. He owned a construction company, Helena continued. Morrison and Reeves Construction. He had a business partner, Scott Reeves. They were doing well, building houses all over Hartford County. This was back in 2005, 2006. She pulled out a folder from her bag. Old newspaper clippings, printouts, documents. In August 2006, there was a fire. One of their properties, a warehouse in East Hartford, they were renovating. Middle of the night. Scott was there doing late inventory. He died in the fire. She showed me a newspaper article. Warehouse fire claims life of local contractor. There was a photo of Scott Reeves. Young guy, maybe 30, with a wife and 2 little kids. Fire marshal ruled it accidental, Helena said. Electrical fault. But Scott's wife Amanda never believed it. See, Scott had just found something. Discrepancies in the company books. Someone was embezzling from Morrison and Reeves. Scott was going to confront David about it. Then the fire happened. And Craig was there? Craig was David's site manager. Had been for 3 years. Handled a lot of the financial paperwork. After the fire, the insurance paid out $500,000. The warehouse was a total loss. All the company records burned. She showed me another article. This one from April 2007. Local contractor dies in fall. My father's obituary. Died at a construction site in New Britain. Fell from scaffolding. 32 years old. Survived by wife Linda and son Angus, age 2. Craig was with him, Helena said quietly. Said David wasn't wearing his safety harness properly. Said it was a tragic accident. But David was obsessive about safety. He would never climb scaffolding without proper equipment. My coffee had gone cold. I couldn't drink it anyway. My throat was too tight. You think Craig killed my father? I think Craig embezzled from the company. I think Scott figured it out. I think Craig started the fire to destroy the evidence and eliminate Scott. And I think when David started asking questions about the fire, Craig killed him too. The diner sounds faded to background noise. An old man at the counter laughed at something. A waitress dropped silverware. Normal life happening around us while Helena told me my stepfather was a murderer. Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you go to the police? I tried, she said. Back in 2007, right after David died. But I had no proof. Just suspicions. The police investigated both deaths. Both were ruled accidental. And then Craig married your mother. Less than a year after David died, became your stepfather. Had access to everything, including David's trust fund for you. You knew about the trust fund? David called me 2 months before he died. Said he'd set up a trust for you. $200,000 from the insurance payout after Scott died. He wanted to make sure you'd be taken care of no matter what. He was worried about something. Wouldn't tell me what. But he was scared. She reached across the table and took my hand. Hers was warm and dry, with calluses from years of work. I'm a forensic accountant, Angus. Have been for 25 years. I've been quietly investigating Craig for a long time, gathering evidence. But I needed someone to stand up to him. Someone with standing to challenge him. And now, you're doing it. He's framing me for burglary. I'm facing criminal charges, which means he's scared. You're getting close to something. He's desperate. She pulled out more documents. Financial records. Bank statements. Spreadsheets covered in numbers and highlights. Morrison and Reeves Construction had $600,000 in the bank in July 2006. By September 2006, after the fire, there was only $200,000. Craig embezzled $400,000 in the month before the fire. He knew Scott was catching on, so he started moving money, then burned the warehouse to hide the evidence. Can you prove it? These are copies. The original's burned. But I've traced the money. It went into offshore accounts, shell companies. Craig's been good at hiding it. But not perfect. I can show the pattern. with enough time and resources. Do the police know? I've tried. But it's old. 17 years old. The detective who worked the fire is retired. The one who investigated David's fall is retired. Nobody wants to reopen closed cases, especially with no new evidence. I thought about the photos on my phone, the evidence I'd gathered from Craig's office. I have something, I said. Proof Craig's been stealing from my trust fund. Gambling debts, casino receipts, credit card statements. It's all documented. Helena's eyes lit up. That's recent. That's actionable. Let me see. I showed her the photos on my phone. She scrolled through them, her expression getting more and more animated. This is good, she said. This is really good. This proves current embezzlement. We can use this. I don't have a lawyer. Nobody will take my case. I know someone. Not local. Someone Craig can't touch. Let me make some calls. She spent the next 10 minutes on her phone. Made 3 calls. Talked in quick, professional bursts. Finally hung up and smiled. Marcus Shaw, private investigator in Massachusetts. Former Boston police detective. He'll help us. He owes me a favor. I don't have money to pay him. I'll cover it. David was my brother. This is for him. I wanted to cry. I wanted to hug this woman I'd just met. Instead, I just said, "Thank you. But you need to be careful," Helena warned. Craig Morrison isn't just a thief. He's killed before. If he feels cornered, he'll kill again. You're a threat to him now. A big one. What do I do? We gather evidence. We build a case. We take it to the state attorney, and we don't give Craig any warning. He can't know we're coming. We spent 2 more hours at the diner. Helena showed me everything she'd compiled over 17 years. The paper trail of Craig's crimes. It was circumstantial, scattered, but it was there. A pattern of theft and violence, and covering his tracks. When we finally left, it was dark. Helena walked me to my car in the parking lot. "I'll call you tomorrow," she said. "Marcus Shaw can be here by Wednesday. We'll start putting together a real case. Not just the trust fund. Everything." I drove back to the motel. Extended Stay America was starting to feel like home. I'd been there almost a week. My money was running out. I had maybe 2 more nights. Then I'd be sleeping in my car. Inside the room, I sat on the bed and thought about my father, David Morrison. I'd been 2 when he died. Had no memories of him, just photos, just stories. But he'd tried to protect me. Set up that trust fund. Made sure I'd have something. And Craig had taken it all. Not just the money. Everything. My phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. "This is Marcus Shaw." Helena filled me in. "I'll be in Hartford Wednesday morning. Don't do anything until I get there. Stay safe." I texted back. "Thank you." Then another text. This one from Craig. "I know you met with someone today. Stop digging or you'll regret it." I blocked his number. But the message was clear. He was watching me. Somehow, he knew about Helena. I double-checked the locks on the motel room door. Checked the window. Then I lay on the bed fully clothed, lights on, and waited for morning. Wednesday couldn't come fast enough. Marcus Shaw showed up Wednesday at 9 in the morning. Tall black guy, maybe 45, built like he could still handle himself in a fight. He wore jeans, a leather jacket, and had a no-nonsense attitude that made me feel safer just being around him. We met at the motel. Him, me, and Helena. Sat around the tiny table in my room going over everything. "Here's what we know," Marcus said, making notes on a laptop. Craig Morrison embezzled from Morrison and Reeves Construction in 2006. Started a fire to cover his tracks. Scott Reeves died. Then he killed David Morrison to prevent discovery. Married David's widow. Gained access to the trust fund. Has been stealing from it for 17 years. And now he's framing Angus to shut him down. "Can we prove any of it?" I asked. "The trust fund theft? Yes. Your photos are solid evidence. The murders are harder. 17 years old. But I've got connections at Boston PD, and some friends in Hartford. I can shake some trees. See what falls out." He looked at Helena. "You said the fire marshal who investigated the warehouse fire retired early?" 2 years after the fire. Moved to Arizona. Bought a house for $300,000 cash. On a fire marshal's salary? Exactly. Marcus made more notes. I'll find him. See if he's ready to clear his conscience. People get old. They start thinking about their legacy. He turned to me. Your criminal case. The burglary charges. Tell me exactly what happened. I went through it again. Breaking into the house. Finding the documents. Photographing everything. Craig. Coming home early. The police showing up at Tyler's house. He planted evidence, Marcus said. The jewelry. He bought it at a pawn shop, then reported it stolen. Classic setup. Your attorney should subpoena pawnshop records. That'll blow the whole case apart. My public defender isn't doing that. He wants me to take a plea. Then we get you a real attorney. Helena, you know Thomas Bradford? Criminal defense. Hartford. Yeah, I know him. He's good. Expensive, but good. Call him. Helena made the call. Talked for 15 minutes. Hung up and nodded. He'll take the case. Wants a $20,000 retainer. My stomach dropped. I don't have $20,000. I don't have anything. I've got it, Helena said. Consider it an investment in justice. I wanted to refuse. Wanted to say I couldn't accept that kind of money. But I was desperate and drowning, so I just said thank you again. Thomas Bradford came to the motel that afternoon. Mid-50s, gray at the temples, expensive suit, leather briefcase. He reviewed my case for 30 minutes, then made 3 phone calls. The prosecution's case is weak, he announced. No physical evidence. No witnesses. Just the word of your stepfather and mother. We subpoena Craig's credit card records. Find the jewelry purchase. This whole thing collapses. I'll have the charges dismissed within 2 weeks. Relief flooded through me. Really? Really? This is a garbage case. Someone's trying to intimidate you. It's not going to work. Bradford filed motions immediately. Demanded discovery. Credit card records, phone records, security footage from the house. The prosecution fought back, but the judge ordered limited disclosure. While we waited, Marcus Shaw started investigating the old cases. He flew to Arizona, tracked down the retired fire marshal. The guy's name was Donald Peters, 71 years old, living in a retirement community in Scottsdale. Marcus called me from Arizona. He's dying. Lung cancer. Stage 4. Maybe 6 months. And he's ready to talk. He'll admit Craig bribed him? Better. He'll admit Craig paid him to rule the fire accidental. Peters knew it was arson. Found evidence of an accelerant. But Craig gave him $200,000 to bury the report. Peters has been living with the guilt for 17 years. Wants to make it right before he dies. Will he give a statement? Already did. Sworn affidavit. Notarized. It's solid. Things were finally moving. Finally going our way. Then Friday happened. I was at the motel, eating Thai takeout and watching TV, when my mom called. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. Angus. Her voice was shaking, terrified. Mom? What's wrong? He knows. He knows I talked to you. He knows I told you about the trust fund. He's been watching me, listening to my calls. He knows everything. Where are you? Home. He locked me in. Took my keys, my phone. I'm calling from the neighbor's phone through the bathroom window. Please, you have to help me. I'm calling the police right now. No. He'll hurt me before they get here. He's drunk. He's been drinking all day. He said if I don't get you to stop this investigation, he's going to kill me and make it look like suicide. He's done it before. There was a girlfriend before me. She died. They said it was suicide, but it wasn't. It was him. Please, Angus. I'm scared. Stay where you are. Lock the bathroom door. I'm coming. No, don't. He's waiting for you. He wants you to come. It's a trap. I'm not leaving you there. Then call someone. Call your aunt. Call that investigator. But don't come alone. Please. The line went dead. I tried to call back. No answer. I called Helena. No answer. Called Marcus Shaw. Voicemail. Called Thomas Bradford. His secretary said he was in court, wouldn't be available until 5. It was 2 in the afternoon. I called 911. My mother's in danger. She's being held against her will by my stepfather at our house on Elm Street. The dispatcher took my information, said she'd send officers, asked me to stay on the line. I'm going there now. Sir, please wait for the police. I hung up, got in my car, drove to Elm Street. Police were already there when I arrived. 2 cruisers in the driveway. I pulled up and ran to the front door. An officer stopped me. Sir, step back. That's my mom in there. She called me. She's in danger. Sir, we need you to wait here. 2 officers were talking to Craig on the front porch. He looked calm, sober, normal. Not like the drunk, violent person my mom had described. Then my mom came out. She looked fine. No bruises, no signs of distress. Angus, she said. Her voice was different, flat. Why did you call the police? You called me. You said Craig locked you in. You said you were scared. I didn't call you. The words hit like ice water. Yes, you did. 20 minutes ago. From the neighbor's phone. No, I didn't. I've been here all afternoon. With Craig. We've been talking about your situation. About getting you help. Help? Craig stepped forward. Concerned. Parental. Angus, your mother and I are worried about you. These delusions, these accusations, this paranoia. We think you need to see someone. A therapist. Maybe a psychiatrist. I'm not delusional. Mom, you called me. You said Craig was threatening you. She looked at the police officers. Then at Craig. Then at me. I didn't call you, sweetheart. I think you imagined it. You've been under so much stress. Maybe you fell asleep and had a dream? The officers exchanged glances. One of them took me aside. Son, has anyone else expressed concerns about your mental health? I realized what was happening, what Craig was doing. He'd forced my mom to make that call, then forced her to recant. Now I looked like the crazy one, the unstable one. He's manipulating her, I said. He's abusing her. She's scared of him. Your mother says she's fine. Your stepfather says he's concerned about you. Have you been taking any medications? Any substances? No. I'm not crazy. This is all part of his plan. He's framing me. The officer's expression shifted. Sympathy mixed with suspicion. Maybe you should talk to someone. Get some help. Your parents are willing to support you. I looked at my mom. She wouldn't meet my eyes. Just stood next to Craig, his hand on her shoulder. Trapped. I'm leaving, I said. I got in my car and drove away. In the rearview mirror, I saw the police officers talking to Craig and my mom. Saw them all nodding together, like a team. Back at the motel, I sat and shook. My phone rang. Helena. Angus, what happened? I got 3 missed calls from you. I told her everything. The phone call from my mom. The police. The way Craig had turned it all around. He's trying to have me committed, I said. He's building a case that I'm mentally unstable. Then he can get guardianship, control the trust fund completely, maybe even have me locked up in a psychiatric facility. We need to move faster, Helena said. This is escalating. That night Helena called again. Her voice was different. Shaken. Someone ran me off the road. I-84, near the exit for Farmington. Black pickup truck. He looked right at me before he swerved into my lane, then drove off. Are you okay? Broken ribs. Concussion. I'm at Hartford Hospital. But Angus, it was Craig. I saw his face. He tried to kill me. Did you tell the police? They're calling it a hit and run. But they don't believe it was intentional. They think I'm confused from the concussion. Everything was falling apart. Craig was escalating. He'd attacked Helena. He was manipulating my mom. He was turning everyone against me. I had no family, no home, almost no money. And now Helena was in the hospital. I sat in that motel room and felt more alone than I'd ever felt. Craig was winning, and I had no idea how to stop him. Marcus Shaw flew back from Arizona the next day. He came straight to the hospital where Helena was recovering. I met him there. The 3 of us sat in Helena's private room, her with bandages around her ribs, face bruised but eyes still sharp. We need to be smart about this, Marcus said. Craig's escalating because he knows we're closing in. But he's also making mistakes. The hit and run was sloppy. He was seen. Helena can identify him. The police don't believe me, Helena said. They think I'm confused. Then we make them believe you. We build a case so strong they can't ignore it. Marcus pulled out his laptop, showed us what he'd been working on. A complete timeline of Craig's crimes. 2006 fire, 2007 murder, 17 years of embezzlement, now attempted murder. I've been making calls, Marcus said. Scott Reeves's widow, Amanda. She's ready to talk. She's kept evidence all these years. Papers Scott had found. Bank statements showing the embezzlement. She was too scared before, but not anymore. What changed? I asked. She saw the news coverage about your case, about Craig's charges against you. She recognized the pattern. He's doing to you what he did to Scott, framing you to silence you. She wants to help. Helena sat up straighter, winced from the pain. Can we get Amanda on record? Already did. Sworn statement. She's willing to testify. Things were finally aligning. The dying fire marshal in Arizona. Scott's widow. Helena's forensic accounting. The photos from Craig's office. We had pieces of a real case. Then Thomas Bradford called. My criminal attorney. He had news about the burglary charges. We got the discovery, he said. Craig's credit card records. And you're not going to believe this. What? 3 days before he reported your mother's jewelry stolen, he purchased a ring from Gold Exchange Pawn Shop in New Britain. Description matches the grandmother's ring exactly. He bought stolen property, then claimed you stole it from your mother. It's fraud. The prosecution's dropping all charges against you. I almost cried with relief. When? Motion to dismiss is being filed today. You'll be clear by Monday. One piece of good news. Finally. But that afternoon, everything got worse. Tyler called. His family's house had been broken into. Nothing taken except Tyler's laptop. The one that had all my photos backed up on it. The evidence from Craig's office. I'm sorry, man, Tyler said. They only took the laptop. Left the TV, the iPad, my parents' jewelry. Just the laptop. It was targeted. Craig knew about the backups. I checked my car. The folder I'd hidden under the driver's seat was gone. Someone had broken in. No window smashed. No damage. Just picked the lock and took the documents. I called Marcus. Craig got to the evidence. The photos are gone. Do you still have them on your phone? I checked. My photo library had been wiped remotely. Someone had hacked my iCloud account, deleted everything. They're gone, I said. My voice broke. He erased everything. What about the copies at your work locker? I got fired from Target. They cleaned out my locker. We'd lost the hard evidence. The photos of Craig's gambling debts. The receipts. The bank statements. All gone. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. We still have the witness statements. Amanda, the fire marshal, Helena. That's something, but it wasn't enough. Not without corroboration. Craig could claim they were all lying, all conspiring against him. That night, I got a text from an unknown number. Drop this or everyone you love gets hurt. Your friend Tyler. Aunt Helena. Even your mother. I tried to trace the number. Burner phone. Untraceable. An hour later, Helena called from the hospital. Angus, the doctor just told me something strange. Someone came by earlier claiming to be my son. Tried to get into my room. I don't have a son. Security stopped him. But they got his description. Mid-40s, white male, 6'3", 240 pounds. Craig. He tried to get to Helena in the hospital. You need protection, I said. I'm checking out tomorrow. Going to stay at a hotel. Somewhere he can't find me. But how long could we keep running? How long before Craig found us? The next day, my mom reached out again. Email this time. Short and desperate. Meet me at the park on Farmington Avenue. 2 p.m. Come alone. Please. I showed the email to Marcus. It's a trap, he said immediately. Maybe. But what if it's real? What if she really needs help? Then I come with you. Hidden. Backup. We went to the park. Marcus stayed in his car 50 yards away, watching through binoculars. My mom was sitting on a bench near the playground. She looked terrible, makeup covering a bruise on her cheek, sunglasses hiding her eyes. I sat next to her. "Mom, thank you for coming." Her voice was flat. "Dead. I need you to stop this. Stop the investigation. Stop fighting Craig. Just take what's left of the trust fund and go. Start over somewhere else. Please. He's beating you." She didn't deny it, just stared at the playground, where a few kids were on the swings. "He's been hurting me for years," she said quietly. "Ever since we got married, maybe before. I stayed because I was scared. Because I had nowhere to go. Because I thought he'd kill me if I left. Then leave now. I'll help you. We can protect you. You can't protect me from Craig. Nobody can. He's too smart, too connected. He's always 3 steps ahead. Not anymore. We have evidence. Witnesses. The fire marshal who he bribed. Scott's widow. We're building a case." She turned to me, took off her sunglasses. Her left eye was swollen, purple. "He'll kill you before you can finish. He's killed before. He killed David. He killed Scott. He'll kill you without hesitation. Tell me what happened to Dad. The truth." She was quiet for a long time. Then, I was there that day, at the construction site. I'd brought David lunch. We were in the trailer, eating sandwiches. Craig was outside, checking the scaffolding. Then David got a call, went outside to take it. I heard them arguing. David and Craig. David was saying something about the fire, about Scott, about knowing what Craig did. Her hands were shaking. She gripped them together. Then David climbed the scaffolding. He was going to check something on the roof. Craig followed him. I was still in the trailer. I heard David shout, a crash, then silence. I ran outside. David was on the ground, not moving. Craig was up on the scaffolding, holding David's safety harness. The strap was cut, clean cut, like with a knife. "You saw Craig cut it?" "I saw him holding it. I saw the cut. And I saw his face. He looked right at me. And I knew he'd done it. He killed David right in front of me." "Why didn't you say anything?" "He came down from the scaffolding, stood over David's body, looked at me and said, 'If you tell anyone, I'll kill you too, and I'll make it look like grief.' Widow couldn't handle losing her husband. Overdose. Everyone will understand." I believed him. I was 27 years old with a 2-year-old son. I was terrified. "So you let him get away with murder. And then you married him." "He gave me no choice. He said if I didn't marry him, he'd take you. He'd hurt you. I married him to protect you, Angus. Everything I've done has been to keep you safe." "By letting him steal from me? By testifying against me in court? I thought if I went along with everything, he'd leave you alone." "I was wrong. He's never going to leave you alone. Not until you're dead or destroyed." She stood up, put her sunglasses back on. "That's why I'm begging you. Take the money and run. Disappear. Change your name. Start over. It's the only way you'll survive." "I'm not running. Then you're going to die. Just like your father." She walked away, got into Craig's truck parked across the street. He was waiting for her, watching us. Marcus appeared at my side. "Did you get that?" "Get what?" He held up his phone. "Recording. Everything she said. Her confession that Craig killed David. That he's been blackmailing her. This is huge. We had a confession. From my mother. On tape. But using it meant destroying her. Sending her to prison for accessory to murder. For perjury. For 17 years of lies. We have to use it," Marcus said. "It's the only way to stop Craig." I watched Craig's truck drive away with my mom inside. Thought about that terrified 27-year-old widow with a baby, threatened by the man who'd just killed her husband. Thought about 17 years of abuse and fear. "Let's give her one more chance," I said. "Let's see if she'll testify willingly. If she knows we have the recording, maybe she'll finally stand up to him." That night, I called my mom. "I have a recording of our conversation. You confessing that Craig killed Dad. You have two choices. Testify against him willingly, or I turn the recording over to the police and you go down with him. Silence on the line. Then, okay. Okay, what? Okay, I'll testify. I'm done being afraid. I'm done letting him control me. But you have to promise me something. When this is over, when Craig's in prison, you'll forgive me. You'll let me try to be your mother again. I don't know if I can promise that. Then just promise you'll try. I'll try. The next day, we met with Detective Sarah Jennings at Hartford Police Department. Brought everything. The fire marshal's affidavit, Amanda's statement, Helena's evidence of embezzlement, the recording of my mom's confession, and my mom herself, ready to tell the truth. She sat across from Detective Jennings and told the whole story. Craig's embezzlement from Morrison and Reeves, the fire that killed Scott, David's murder, the 17 years of stealing from the trust, the abuse, the threats, everything. Detective Jennings listened carefully, took notes, asked questions. Then she stood up. I need to make some calls. This is bigger than I can handle alone. We're talking about multiple homicides, fraud, witness tampering. I'm bringing in the state attorney's office. Over the next 3 days, everything moved fast. State investigators interviewed Amanda, flew to Arizona to depose the dying fire marshal, brought in forensic accountants to review Helena's evidence, executed search warrants on Craig's house, his vehicles, his office. They found everything. Craig hadn't burned the evidence like he'd told me. The safety deposit box at Webster Bank held detailed ledgers of every crime, every bribe, every theft, every manipulation. He'd kept it all as insurance against the people he'd paid off. But now, it proved his guilt. Friday afternoon, police arrested Craig Morrison at his office, charged him with 2 counts of first-degree murder, multiple counts of fraud and embezzlement, attempted murder for the hit and run on Helena, witness tampering, and false imprisonment. The bail hearing was Monday. Prosecutor argued Craig was a flight risk and a danger to witnesses. Judge agreed. Bail denied. Craig was held without bond pending trial. I sat in the courtroom and watched them take him away in handcuffs. He looked at me once. No anger, no fear. Just cold calculation, like he was already planning his next move. But his next move never came. The evidence was overwhelming. His own records proved everything. The fire marshal's deathbed confession, Amanda's testimony, my mother's statement, Helena's forensic analysis, the pawn shop receipt for the ring, his browser history showing research on how to cause accidental deaths. Craig's lawyer tried to negotiate a plea. The state refused. This was going to trial. The trial took 18 months from arrest to verdict. Longest 18 months of my life. I turned 20 during jury selection, 21 during testimony. By the time the jury came back with a verdict, I was almost 22. During that time, a lot changed. The criminal charges against me were formally dismissed. Thomas Bradford made sure the dismissal included language about malicious prosecution. We could have sued Craig civilly, but there was no point. He'd be in prison for life. The trust fund case moved forward. With Craig arrested and charged, the court froze all his assets. Forensic accountants traced every dollar he'd stolen. The gambling losses, the bribes, the personal expenses. $325,000 gone. But Craig had assets. The house, 2 vehicles, savings accounts, investment accounts. The court ordered everything liquidated for restitution. After paying off the mortgage and Craig's debts, there was $320,000 left. The court awarded it all to me. Not the full $400,000 I should have had, but close, enough to change my life. I enrolled at the University of Connecticut. Started classes in January, right after my 21st birthday. Studied criminal justice. Wanted to understand the system that had almost destroyed me. Wanted to learn how to help other people caught in the same kind of nightmare. Helena recovered from her injuries. We had dinner every Sunday. She became the family I'd lost. Told me stories about my father. Showed me photos I'd never seen. Helped me understand who David Morrison had been. My relationship with my mom was harder. She'd testified against Craig, put herself at risk to tell the truth. But she'd also lied for 17 years. Let me grow up, never knowing my father's real story. I wasn't ready to forgive that. Maybe someday, but not yet. She understood. Moved to Massachusetts after the trial. Started over. Got therapy for the abuse trauma. We talked on the phone sometimes. Brief conversations. Working towards something, but not there yet. Tyler and his family stayed in my life. They'd been there when everything fell apart. That kind of loyalty doesn't go away. I spent Thanksgiving with them. Christmas, too. Marcus Shaw went back to Massachusetts, but we kept in touch. He sent me textbooks about criminal investigation. Said I'd make a good investigator someday. Maybe even a good cop. I wasn't sure about that, but I appreciated the vote of confidence. The trial itself was brutal. 8 weeks of testimony. Watching my mom on the stand crying, admitting everything. Watching Amanda Reeves describe her husband's death, her 17 years of fear and silence. The fire marshal's video deposition, recorded a week before he died of cancer, confessing his role in the cover-up. Craig's defense was that everyone was lying. That I'd orchestrated a massive conspiracy to frame him because I was angry about the trust fund. His lawyers were good. They tried hard. But the evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 3 days. I barely slept. Just waited at the courthouse with Helena and Marcus, drinking terrible coffee, imagining what would happen if Craig walked free. On the 3rd day, the jury came back. Guilty. On every count. 2 counts of first-degree murder. 17 counts of fraud and embezzlement. Attempted murder. Witness tampering. False imprisonment. Every single charge. The judge sentenced him 2 weeks later. 2 consecutive life terms without possibility of parole. Craig Morrison would die in prison. He made a statement before sentencing. Said he was innocent. Said I'd destroyed a family with my lies. Said he hoped I could live with myself. I could live with myself just fine. After the sentencing, I walked out of the courthouse into sunshine. Helena was waiting. So was my mom, awkward and hopeful. Marcus had flown in from Boston for the verdict. Even Tyler came. Took the day off work. We went to dinner at a steakhouse in West Hartford. Celebrated. Not just the verdict, but survival, making it through. 5 years later, I'm 25. Graduated from UConn with honors. Got accepted to law school. Starting in the fall. Planning to specialize in elder abuse and family financial fraud. Help people who've been victimized by the people who were supposed to protect them. I still see Helena every week. She's 70 now, talking about retirement. But she's proud of me. Tells me my father would be proud too. My mom and I have coffee once a month. Still awkward. Still working on it. But we're trying. She's been sober for 4 years, got therapy, built a life. She'll never be the mom I needed when I was a kid. But maybe she can be someone I know as an adult. Time will tell. I think about that barbecue sometimes. 5 years ago. My 19th birthday coming up. Uncle Gary, drunk and stupid, blurting out about $400,000. Craig dropping his beer bottle. Everything that followed. If Uncle Gary had kept his mouth shut, I never would have known about the trust fund. Craig would have taken every penny. Maybe eventually killed my mom when he didn't need her anymore. Maybe killed me if I'd started asking questions. That moment, as awful as it was, saved my life. Sometimes the worst day of your life is the first day of the life you were always meant to live. That barbecue destroyed me. My family fell apart. I lost my home, my job, almost lost my freedom. I learned my stepfather was a murderer, and my mother was complicit. I spent months terrified and alone. But it also saved me. Because I learned the truth. I learned who my real father was. I learned I was stronger than I thought. I learned that justice, even when it takes time, even when it costs everything, is worth fighting for. I learned that family isn't just blood. It's the people who stand with you when everything falls apart. Helena, who barely knew me but fought for me anyway. Marcus, who flew across the country to help. Tyler and his family, who gave me a place to sleep when I had nowhere else to go. Thomas Bradford, who believed in me. Detective Jennings, who listened. Those are my family now. I visited my father's grave last week. First time in 5 years. I'd been avoiding it. too painful, but I finally went. Stood there looking at his headstone. David Paul Morrison, 1975 to 2007. Beloved husband and father. "I got him, Dad," I said. "Craig's in prison. He'll never hurt anyone again. And I'm going to law school. Going to spend my life making sure people like him are stopped. I wish I'd known you. But I'm going to make you proud." I stood there a while longer. Then I walked back to my car. Helena was waiting. We drove to lunch together. Talked about my classes, her retirement plans, normal life things. The sun was shining. I had a full tank of gas and money in my bank account. I had people who cared about me and a future that looked bright. Craig tried to destroy me. Instead, he made me stronger. And I wouldn't change a single thing. So let me ask you something. Have you ever had a moment that destroyed you but ultimately saved you? A moment that forced you to face a terrible truth but set you free? Drop a comment and share your story. I'd love to hear it. And if this story meant something to you, hit that like button. Subscribe to hear more stories like this. Share it with someone who might need to hear that they can survive the worst and come out stronger. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. I hope wherever you are in your journey, you find the courage to face your truth and the strength to fight for justice. Stay strong out there.